Good evening and welcome. My name is John Cardenas. I'm a psychologist and anthropologist, and we're here with Mr. Albert J. Bose, professional psychic. We're going to discuss the topic of intuition, the brain as a quantum processor, and what science has done now to validate intuition, and how Mr. Bose uses his gift. So, Albert, how would you describe what you do?
Okay, the best way to describe it is to realize that the existence we're in is only one, it's like one road going somewhere. It's like a tube. But there's many tubes. Nature is full of opportunity and possibilities. So if you were looking at it, like Albert would be looking at it, you would be looking at it like if we were down near the river and we were waiting for a steamboat to come, and we were waiting for a steam train to come, and some man was up on top of the mountain. He could see the exhaust pipes of the steamboat or exhaust pipe of the steam train, and he would say, it's going to be here in a half an hour, and pretty soon it was there. Well, some people would go up, point up at him and say, he predicted the future. No, he was in a different space to be able to tune in at a different level. He was in like another dimension in a sense of seeing it with an advantage. Well, my gift taps into another dimension and gives me an advantage to convey practical information to my clients.
It's interesting because only now, with quantum physics, are scientists saying, like Stephen J. Hawking, they can prove other dimensions just with pure mathematics, which is a language.
Mm-hmm.
Up to 17, he would say, but when you asked him, he would say there's unlimited amounts.
Yeah.
And his teacher says that there are microtubules in the brain which are made of crystal, and that really makes us a quantum processor.
Right.
Time and space is an illusion. So that probably allows you, with your gift, to go forwards or back in time, or how would you use this with a client?
Well, my dad was an engineer for the Cape, for the U.S. government, and he used to use crystals to make radios. They were called crystal radios. So he could take a crystal and adjust it and pick up different radio stations. Well, this is very similar. The most of the work that I do is with individuals, and they never tell me anything about themselves because I don't want to be biased. They come in and sit down, and I explain how I work. I don't answer yes or no questions. I answer how and why. I don't talk about just the word love because it's an emotional word. I talk about compatibility, which is an explanation of something that's not easy to describe. When I see a race car and I see a part blowing apart, I try to visualize and draw a picture of that part. And then the mechanic can go and test it, check the oil pressure, check whatever's wrong, check for heat or noise, and that way he could prevent his car or his truck or his vehicle from blowing up.
So your sensitivity allows you to pick up on other dimensional cues that
Yes.
most of us don't.
Well, there's many dependable ways to reach a goal. And I always give the example of two sisters, and one sister gets on the interstate and goes right to Orlando. The other one has a little drink and gets a little bit lost, and she runs into a tree. Well, both of them are potentially going to the same place, but they're taking different dimensions. They're taking different opportunities. When you drive down the road, you can never repeat that again. And people say, sure I can. No, it's not the same traffic. It wasn't the same deer that came out to the side of the road and ran back. Each day is a different experience. And these different dimensions are opportunities. And that's part of what faith in God or faith in something is thoughts are things. And we help create a positive reality. So what I do is through my faith and through my empathy, I get information that gives a person the direction and the faith to make things happen. This chair was in someone's mind at one time. It was literally a thought. Now it's a thing. So if you could train and teach people to turn and spin and go in directions to learn how to use their gifts, that could be a gift of intuition or a gift of music or a gift of anything. if you can help them from another dimension, another possibility, it's a great asset to them.
Absolutely. And from what you've told me, you've worked with surgeons, race car drivers, race car mechanics, real estate agents, and I'm assuming you're using your gift to see those other potentialities.
Yes, and I have therapists that come to me that talk and talk and talk to people, and the person just, they're like closed off, and the therapist is frustrated. So they bring them to me, and they sit down, and I tell them about what their father acted like when they were a child, or what his father acted like, and how that's passed down, and maybe it's not their fault, they were trained that, they were taught that through example. And I do that sometimes with a job prospect. Like a girl came to me and I told her that she was a herbalist, and she was very gifted. But I said, you could be a pharmacist someday. And she said, really? I said, yeah. So she went right straight to college. She went to school and became a pharmacist. She interviewed for 3 jobs, and she came to me and she said, nobody hired me. I said, it's the thought behind it. She said, what do you mean? I said, every job you went to, you told them how hard it was, that you were afraid. And could you imagine giving elderly people medicine when you're afraid and doubtful? I said, next interview, say, I'm challenged. And she did, and she got the job.
Nice.
Because of just one word and a change of thinking.
Yeah, it helped her come to another realization.
Prayer.
Yeah. Intention.
Believing, having faith, having clarity is so important.
And that can do all kinds of things, transform a person's view of the past.
Sure.
Even,
Forgive them, surrender.
Yeah, let go of all that negative emotion and step aside from what they experienced and see it from a whole other perspective.
I don't like them to say hard.
Mm.
I don't like them to say I'm afraid. I like them to say I'm challenged. Because that word challenge goes, woo. It makes you feel powerful. It makes you feel clearer. Just saying that word.
That's great therapy, actually.
Well, it's not therapy because they haven't told me anything. Therapy is where somebody's highly trained to learn for alternatives. And I'm not listening to alternatives. I'm giving them insight for them to come up with their own answer, which then they're proud of.
I'll bet.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Mr. Bose. It's been a wonderful evening.
All right.
I enjoyed the topic, and maybe next time we'll talk about some other things like astrology or
Reincarnation.
that would be an interesting one
Yeah.
for me.
All right.
Well, thanks for tuning in this evening.
Thank you.